Hi, my name is Sheila. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you've never been here before, thanks for joining. This channel is all about health and fitness, and in this video, I'm going to talk about relationship weight again. Should you lose weight for your partner, spouse, or significant other? Gonna talk about that in this video. Gonna give you 3 things that you need to think about in order to assess what's going on. You are in a relationship with someone else, and typically when we start a new relationship, there is an average set of pounds that we gain. Studies have recently shown that we gain as many as 36 pounds over the course of this new relationship, with 17 pounds in that first year. So what if your spouse has gained weight? Can you talk to them about it? What if you're the one who's gained weight and your spouse comes to you? What do you do? Where do you go? This is really hard. This is not an easy conversation to have on either end, no matter where you sit. So I'm going to talk about 3 key things that you need to think about in order to assess what's going on and whether or not you should ask your partner to lose weight, or whether or not your partner is coming to you and asking you to lose weight. How should you be thinking about it? So there are 3 main concepts that I want you to keep in mind. One has to do with health, one has to do with happy, and one has to do with hurt. And so they all begin with H, so that should definitely make it easier for you to remember. So let's talk about that first one. Health. Health is the main reason why we're usually concerned about our weight. And so if your spouse is coming to you and talking to you about losing weight, and they're saying, honey, I'm really concerned about your health. That significant other or partner is coming to you from a place of care and concern, and what they're talking about is your health, then yes, you might want to open up and listen to what they have to say. So here are a couple of ways, if you want to have this conversation with your spouse, here are a couple of ways you might want to think about whether or not this is a conversation for you. And so when you're approaching your spouse and you're saying, hey, I'm concerned about your health, it's because I know that you've told me in the past that you have a family history of health issues, and that you're really concerned because there's been diabetes in your family, there's been heart disease, people have had other health issues as a result of their weight and not taking care of themselves, and that you've shared that with me. And so now I'm a little concerned because I see that you're gaining weight, and I know that this is a concern for you too. I care about you. So that's one of the things that you may want to think about, whether or not you're having this conversation. Another thing to think about is your partner's health. And so if your partner has told you and shared with you that, hey, yes, I've gained a little weight and I don't feel the same. I don't feel like my usual self. I'm not doing some things that I feel like I should be able to do. And so it's impacting my health right now in terms of what I can do. Maybe it's a chronic condition now. Maybe it's just something acute and it's short-lived, but there just seems to be this onslaught of things that are continuously affecting your health. Then yes, that might be a conversation to have with your spouse. So health can be a main driver with that. You're talking about family history, you're talking about your partner's own personal health history, how they're feeling, and whether or not they have medical issues that they're concerned about. Now, the next step with that, of course, is to then say, you know what? Maybe it's time to sit down with a physician. When was the last time that you had a checkup to see what's your cholesterol level look like? So have some data that helps you make real decisions based on data that you actually have, and data that's objective, okay? And not just you or your spouse looking in the mirror. So health is that first concept that you want to think about. How is this impacting health? And if there is something on there, then definitely consider having this conversation with your spouse. And if you're on the receiving end, understand that your spouse, partner, or significant other is coming to you because they care about your health. So the next H, number 2, is happy. You know, we feel a lot sometimes based on what we look like. There are mirrors around us, and so we're taking in our images. There are advertisements out there of people with perfect bodies, and they look like they have the perfect lifestyle, and they're eating healthy all the time. And so we tend to think that that is the standard that we have to live up to. And so we set ourselves up for failure because we're comparing ourselves to these fake images and these fake lifestyles. And so one of the things that you want to think about when you're thinking about having this conversation with your spouse, or if you're on the other end, the receiving end of the conversation, think about where your happiness quotient is. Like, how happy am I right now with my health? Does my partner or significant other constantly hear me complaining about it? Am I constantly in a bad mood? Am I putting myself down? Am I comparing myself to these fake images in social media, on Instagram and on Facebook, where people are living their best lives and showing you their best lives, and we're using that as a standard of comparison? So if that's where you are and you aren't happy, and your significant other comes to you and has a conversation with you about that, understand that it is, again, because they care. Like, they care about your spiritual and emotional well-being just as much as they care about your physical health. So yes, your physical health may have taken a dive. It might not be where you want it to be. And so now you're exhibiting all of this unhappiness. And if you're the person who is wanting to have the conversation with your spouse or significant other, this is a great way to sit down and have a conversation with them and start with, I'm feeling like you're not happy. I'm hearing you make comments about your weight. I'm hearing you put yourself down. What can I do to help you? And so by talking to them and giving them a space to be safe and secure to discuss what they feel, and to help them understand that there's no need for these comparisons, that they really need to take an outlook that's reflective of what's going on in their life instead of what's going on in everybody else's life, you can really have an open and honest conversation. And that is number 2, and that is happiness. So the third and final key concept to think about in terms of wanting to have this conversation, should I lose weight for my partner, or, should I have a conversation with my partner or spouse about losing weight? And it's about hurt and pain. And so we've talked about being healthy, we've talked about being happy, but we honestly, usually that's the last thing we want to talk about is hurt. And so typically what we'll find is we're not just hurting ourselves, but we're hurting our partners and we're hurting our partner relationship. And so if we're not feeling happy, if we're not feeling like we're up to what the person someone should want to be with, then there's a lot of pain that's associated with that. And so we're going to have this internal pain and hurt that we're carrying because, number one, we're not looking like this awesome person that we're supposed to look like, or that society, is saying we're supposed to look like. And number 2, it may be, like I said in the very beginning, when you first got married or when you first entered this relationship, you didn't have as much weight on you, or you were way healthier than you are now, and you could do a whole lot more. And as a period of time has progressed, you've lost some of that. And so now you feel sort of this internal pain and hurt about, letting yourself down and not living up to standards that you want to have for yourself. So you've got that sort of personal pain, and then you look to your partner and you go, oh gosh, I'm not being who I want to be for my partner. And sometimes that is reflected in pulling back in an intimate sort of way. And that's both in terms of physical intimacy. And so maybe you aren't as close physically as you used to be. Maybe you don't want to have as much sex. You don't want to kiss, or you don't want to hug because you don't feel like you have this perfect body anymore. And on the other side, it could be a pullback of emotional intimacy. And so you no longer open up and tell this person who cares about you that you have this pain and hurt inside, and your partner wants to come to you and have this conversation because your partner cares. And so your partner can approach in the very same way. So if you're looking to have this conversation with a partner or with a significant other, one of the things that you can talk about is the hurt and the pain. Like, I see that you're hurting sometimes, and I see that we're not being as emotionally intimate as we used to be, and that we aren't being as physically intimate as we used to be. And so, when can we have a conversation that helps us address some of the things that are going on in our relationship so that we can move forward together? And so those are the three things that you want to think about in terms of, hey, if you're on the giving side of this conversation, should I tell my spouse or partner or significant other to lose weight? Should I even bring this up? How do I bring this up? Well, think about those three key concepts. I can talk about health, I can talk about being happy, and I can talk about the hurt. And if you're on the receiving end, and if you want to start this conversation, it's another way for you to sort of have the conversation too, because you can say, hey, I'm not feeling healthy. Even if you don't feel like addressing the hurt and the pain part, you can say, you know what, I'm not feeling as healthy as I used to, and therefore I'm not feeling as happy as I used to. Your partner can probably pick up where this is going, but if you're not ready to have the conversation about hurt, then start with the one that just talks about, hey, my family history is this, and I'm concerned about this, and I'm gonna make some changes, and I hope you're gonna be here with me. So I hope these three key concepts will help, both sides of the relationship, the person who's interested in having the conversation and the person who might be on the receiving end of the conversation, to be able to have an honest conversation when you need to start talking about relationship weight and weight issues when one partner has gained weight in the relationship. This really is about being healthy and fit, keeping and building self-esteem, and supporting those people in our lives that we love. So stick around for more videos. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so that you can continue to receive these great and hopefully helpful videos regarding relationship weight, love handles, and the things that we can do together in our relationships to lead a healthy and fit lifestyle. We want to support each other. I want to support you. So if you have any comments, definitely leave them below. Let me know what other topics you'd love to hear me talk about. And don't forget to continue to commit to staying fit.